Hey, good morning, guys. So I want to start off this morning finishing up with the Mark 47 that we didn't get a chance to light up last week because, truthfully, in my opinion, all the Iron Man figures, the 46 slash 47, are the absolute most beautiful lit up. I don't remember the 50 for some reason. If it also lights up just as equally as beautiful, it might. For some reason, it's just outside of my mind. But since we just did the 47, obviously, it's the one. Um, so I installed the batteries this week. Took like, I don't know, 45 minutes or something like that to put all the batteries in them. But went to turn this on, and it didn't come on. Now, it came on this week when I put the batteries on them, and now it's not coming on the chest. I'm a little miffed about that, if you can imagine. Didn't get the arms turned on yet this morning either. These batteries only last like 2 hours tops if you have them running. So I'm going to swap out the batteries in this chest, and hopefully that's all it is that for God knows whatever reason, the batteries went dead on that. Give me just a quick moment on that. I have a hard time believing that's the issue, and I pray I don't have a faulty Mark 47. But to get to the point before I put the chest batteries in, I'll show you all the other pieces in case you've not seen this guy lit up before, or his brother, the 46. My goodness. It's really, really quite impressive. I'm impressed, at least. And I was truly hoping that when they did this to this 47, that they were going to do the same thing to the Spider-Man Iron Spider, and they did not. They didn't put all these lights on the Iron Spider. Why is this not snapping in? What the hell? So, of course, you have the standard hands, eyes, and then, of course, the chest is supposed to be lit up right now. We'll get that in a second. But you have a battery that goes into this little shoulder piece here, which lights up the back. Now, it's kind of like, what's the point? You can't see it. But if you should have him posed in any way where that is visible, you would be able to see it. You also have these two batteries that go into the thighs here, which light up the leg, which is really cool. You have one here in the hip, one at the knee, and one there at the calf. And then also on the shoulder, you get this piece here, and on the arm, you get this piece here. So light up on the sides, and then in the chest, not only do you get this one, but you get 4 lights here as well. Let me kill the lights here real quick, so you can see all this. And like I said, we're missing the chest right now, and I pray it's just battery issue and not switch issue. But you can see all the lights on this guy. He's pretty impressive in that regards. We're just missing the 5 on his chest right now, but they really light him up. And the Iron Spider also had lights like this all over him. And unfortunately, when Hot Toys produced the figure, they didn't put any lights on him at all. They really missed their opportunity. They should have made the Iron Spider like the Iron Man instead of making the Iron Spider like Spider-Man, and I think that would have been much better. But I'm intrigued about that chest piece there, so I'm going to throw some batteries in that real quick. Get that checked out here. Shed some light on all this situation. Also, I've got If you remember, I told you that I was going to get two of these. I bought one when they originally came out, and literally wished I'd bought two when they originally had come out. Sold the one when I had to pay some medical bills after my wife had her cardiac arrest last year. So this year, when they reissued it, I bought two. So the other one I displayed in the open helmet manner. He sits in the Detolf with the Spider-Man. I put him on one of these big diamond bases. So I don't use these diamond bases often, but when I have an opportunity to use them, like with this guy, I'll do my best to put that on there. I took his Iron Man plate off of the Spider-Man base and put the Spider-Man homemade suit plate. I took it off of the base that it came with and put it on this Spider-Man Homecoming base that came with this guy. So the Iron Man plate's off of this base. Spider-Man Homecoming plate is on this base now. And then I took the little thruster pods, put all four of them onto a single one, which was some work. These are difficult to put on the first place. You're shoving on there, cutting into your fingers, and to put them on there. And I was able to get all four of them on there. I used a Rocket Raccoon little, I don't know what you'd call this. It was designed so you can put Rocket on to a secondary figure or whatever. And this rod is from the Mark 41, where you'd had the little, where you can adjust his arms and legs out from the body. And so that's what this piece is. And I took some electrical tape and wrapped it around the bottom of it to make it fit into the rocket base. So this is the display in the Detolf with the 47 here. I got Spider-Man upside down here. There's little rockets coming out there. I put the other Spider-Man in front here. He sits in front of the 47. So that's the display of the 47 in case you're interested of how I've got all that going on. And like I said, I just want to touch on this because I didn't have an opportunity to finish this up last week, as my wife needed me to assist her. And needless to say, you take care of your family first, always. Unless they're not your family. In case you've decided you're going to disown your family, then you take care of number one first. That's for real. I'm going to put these batteries in here. I'm going to put the second set in here. The good thing is that these bigger batteries are in the chest, are easy to put in, so I'll know real quick what the heck's going on with all that. Hopefully. And I pray it's just a battery issue. I pray it's not a switch issue. I don't want to, God, I don't want to screw with that. Oh, here we go. Already the lights are coming on. So something was wrong with the battery. Oh, come on. Good. Thank God for that. So here we have on the back, I don't know if you can see, now that I've lit this guy, I'll turn all the lights in the place on. The chest actually covers more than four. So right off the bat, you got two there on this little hip area there in the back, two on his little side area in his back. I don't know what the parts of your body are, what those are called. And in the front, holy smoke, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lights that it controls. Two here, two here, two here, two here, and then of course the big arc reactor. So let's turn everything off again. I really want you guys to get the full effect of this. It's really amazing. I mean, really, I'm just blown away. If you're gonna buy an Iron Man, you want to light them up. 46, 47, it's definitely the way to go. If you're going to waste time, money, effort putting batteries into one of these guys, this is who you want to do it with. For fact. This is the one. I was glad to see that it was just a battery issue and not a wiring issue. But yeah, there he is. Full glory, Mark 47. Can't go wrong lighting that dude up if you're going to light up a figure. So thanks for sticking with me while I continued on with that. And if you're here for the Star-Lord figure, I'm sorry for putting you on hold. Just wanted to finish up on this, and I'm just going to leave them on over here. I'm not going to take them all apart. But the pieces that come out are the back piece right here. You unsnap that. The of course the back here. This little red piece pops off. Inside the arms, the silver piece pops off, and I think that's all of it, right? And the head, of course. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places to put batteries, compared to 4, which is your normal. So they've added the 2 thighs and the 2 shoulders when you decide to take off the batteries. Put them in there for yourself. So, all right. Good morning, guys. What world is this? Update. We'll get out of here. Thank you. Toy Mafia, good morning. How you doing, man? Jake, how's it going? Welcome. 3 p.m. here in UK, but morning to you guys. Hope everyone is well. Thank you, Jake. Hope everyone is well. Thank you, CBS Sci-Fi. Jake, not going to spoil anything, but I have not watched The Mandalorian the last couple of weeks since my wife came home. I started over from the beginning. We haven't caught up. Oh my God. The last thing I seen was when they said, and so I'll talk about this because it's a couple weeks ago and I haven't seen it yet. But when they said you have to go see Ahsoka Tano, I was like, what? Who did you just say? So I'm hoping that, oh man, I'm really excited about catching up to that. And it's so funny. It's so cute. My wife, she's one of those mediocre Star Wars fans. So she's appreciating it without having the years and 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 years of knowledge that us fans have, right? So she's enjoying it. She says, she goes, I really like Baby Yoda. And that's what we're calling him. I don't know what he really is, but that's what we're calling him. Okay, so here's the other iteration of Star-Lord that I have. I missed the first Star-Lord from the first Guardians of the Galaxy. And in my personal opinion, I don't think I missed out. If you have him, God bless you. You did good, and you've got a great figure as far as that goes. But I think the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has the better head sculpt. So with the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I bought both. I bought 2 of them. I don't remember if I bought them both as the deluxe, but with the deluxe, you had more or less the ability to build them in both movies. I bought the base, or I'm using this base from somebody else. I don't remember which Guardians of the Galaxy 1 base this was, but again, I swapped out the nameplates and put the Star-Lord nameplate on this to differentiate him as Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And so he's in more or less the garb that he wore in the first movie in this incarnation, even though this is the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 character. And of course, that you recognize as Guardians of the Galaxy 2 iteration of Star-Lord with little baby Groot on his shoulder there. And the nice thing about that was these 2 movies in the Marvel timeline were, I mean, just like weeks apart in regards to what took place from the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and the ending of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. So it wasn't like years. It wasn't like 5 years, which is the difference between Infinity War and Endgame of Marvel timeline. It was just literally weeks. So you didn't have much of an aging process in the characters or in their uniforms, and that again made it easier to duplicate the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 figure. So I want to get that out of the way and show you those before going on to the Infinity War Star-Lord. So this I got from bought at Big Bad Toy Store. So the nice thing about Big Bad Toy Store is not only do you get the brown shipper because you're buying it, in the United States, but they also ship it to you in a box to make sure that everything comes safely preserved. Even though, there are those out there that don't give much concern or care for the boxes, there are those that put a big deal into the boxes. So if you're a box collector, buying them from somebody like Big Bad Toy Store that ships them in a box is going to make your life a lot easier, because we know UPS, FedEx, Post Office, EMS, whoever it is that's delivering it, they sure do love to customize your figures by bashing your boxes up. Or so it seems. Happy Saturday! Morning, morning, morning. You know what I didn't realize, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, that I thought Australia was like on the other side of the world to me, and it is, okay? But I mean, like, I thought they were like 12 hours difference, and they're not. So, I guess I'm cutting out that part of the world because it's like 3 o'clock in the morning over there. So, if any of you all are watching from down under, thank you very much. I didn't realize it was so early. That's why I broadcast these at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I tried to make it most inclusive for everybody in the whole world. So we have the traditional Infinity War cutout style sleeve box. Okay, so he comes with a little Doctor Strange discs to stand on. I remember in the scene in Infinity Wars as he's fighting Thanos, and they were all fighting together, and he was jumping on the Doctor Strange discs. One of the cutest scenes, I thought, in Infinity War, and then of course also in Doctor Strange, was the play on Doctor Strange's name. So cute. Like when he met I can't remember his name in the Doctor Strange movie, and he goes, and you are, and he says, Doctor, and he's like, Doctor. He goes, no, it's Strange. He goes, yeah, but who am I to judge? And then in Infinity War, when he met Peter Parker, and he goes, hi, I'm Peter Parker, and he goes, Doctor Strange. He goes, oh, we're using our made-up names, are we? I'm Spider-Man. I just love that. It's so cute. Little jokes like that. So this looks pretty neat here. Evidently, you have the little flame effects that you'll put his feet into, I assume, to have him stand on those as he stomps his way, literally, over to give it to Thanos, more or less. I really enjoyed the coordinated efforts that they put when they were fighting him. That was the big deal in the first Avengers movie that we've seen them, or no, was it not the first Avengers movie, Avengers Age of Ultron, when we see him, the Avengers, work together for the first time as they're storming the castle, right? that big scene where they're all in one shot. They put it in slow motion so everyone can see there. Pretty exciting scene. And that's what it's all about, filmmaking, which is one of the complaints I had with the Captain Marvel movie. Now, I'm going to admit, going into the Captain Marvel movie, I was already I was already expecting it to blow me away. I was like, this better be damn good, because I was a little pissed off about the whole Captain Marvel, everything that was going on at that time with Captain Marvel, and I'm like, this better be damn good. And I was disappointed in it in a couple of areas. One of them, probably the biggest area that disappointed me, was that they never made me fall in love with her. And what I mean is in the way that a story is told, and the way a story's been told from the beginning of time of storytelling, you have to make me give a damn about the character. You have to put the character into a situation where it's life or death, or even that they do truly do die. And I have to be concerned. I have to feel for that character. I have to grieve for that character, and I have to want for that character to come back from that and get revenge or overcome or improve themselves or make the world better or something. And they didn't do that with Captain Marvel. I term it in today's world as the hell yeah moment, when you're like, oh, she's back, we'll kick some goddamn ass. We never got that. There was no hell yeah moment. And the moments where they tried to give us a hell yeah moment, they just blew it. It just wasn't there. There was never a hell yeah moment. I never really gave a damn about the character. They didn't make me feel for her. They didn't make me care whether she was there or not, truthfully, throughout the entire thing. It was just really poorly done. And it's not how you tell a story. And like I said, they've been telling stories since the beginning of time. And that's how you tell a story. And they weren't doing it. And that really sucks. A lot of stuff here that I don't even know what the hell all of it is. So I'm really kind of unboxing this thinking, what the hell am I pulling out? A lot of stuff. I'm kind of intrigued. Here's one thing that's neat. I'm happy to see this. Again, I don't watch, only because I want to have a nice opinion of all this. I don't watch the other reviews until later because I want to be surprised myself. I didn't expect the bubbles. That's cool. Remember when Gamora told him, you know, if I get captured or whatever, you need to pull the trigger. And he wouldn't do it. And then finally, when he decided to do it, Thanos thwarted him from doing it anyhow. But when he tried to do it, because of the gemstone, Infinity Stone, that's what came out. That's pretty cool. The bubbles is pretty cool. I like that. It's really neat. That's cool. I'm going to compare pistols here while we're at it. Sometimes what will happen over time or manufacturing is there'll be a different paint scheme or something that will be a little bit different, even if it comes out of the same mold. This looks identical. I mean, even the little wear marks on the firearm and the bluing from the heat on the barrel, they look identical. I mean, they literally look like it's cast right out of the exact same mold. Right in the middle, where the little gold area is on those firearms. This one's from Volume 2. This is from Infinity War. You see that little silver area between the little gold area there, the little silver stripe. On this one, it's more silver. On this one, it is a little more, what would be the term I'm looking for? Shadowed. So that's the only difference I see between the two firearms. Other than that, I mean, they look identical, even with the same wear marks, little brush marks on them. If that's important to you. I don't have that on there. I have to mess with that in a bit. Put that back on there. I also want to look at the head sculpt here. What was the time frame between these two movies in Marvel time frame? Do you remember? Between Volume 2 and Infinity War? How much time had passed, guys? I think all of these are fake leather. I don't think a single one of these Hot Toys figures is real leather, and I might be wrong, but the reason that might be, if that's the case, that none of these are real leather, is because some countries will not let you import leather products into them. So when manufacturers make stuff like this, because of that, they'll make it out of fake leather. So I'm assuming that every one of these Hot Toys figures are made with fake leather. Okay, we have a little more growth of facial hair, like the 5 o'clock shadow. There's a little more 5 o'clock shadow on this figure. Now, that may or may not be the case with you, as each one of these are individually hand painted. And I think the artist for this was Yuli. I don't remember if she was the one that painted this or not. So the 5 o'clock shadow, maybe she was a little heavier handed on this one. Maybe yours might not have as dark a 5 o'clock shadow, but comparing it to the Volume 2, he's got a more darker 5 o'clock shadow. But the sculpt appears to be the same sculpt. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's the same sculpt as the Volume 2. And also the mustache is darker as well. So again, I think that's a painting, and that may or may not be on purpose. So they may have made the mustache and the 5 o'clock shadow darker to show that it's an Infinity War versus Volume 2, or it may just be a heavier hand on the painting of this because each one is hand painted. But I'm going to say it's a dead-on same sculpt. I don't see any difference whatsoever in the sculpt. I mean, literally. But, like I said, the mustache is darker, more visible, and so is the 5 o'clock shadow. Other than that, same. And again, I don't know whether that's on purpose or not, because every one of these Hot Toys head sculpts are hand painted. They're not cranked out of the machine with this full-on paint on them. So take that for whatever it's worth in that regards. Back to the short jacket. Let's compare jackets, because literally this is what it's all about. When you're collecting Star-Lord, are you going to collect every single Star-Lord? Some of you might. Are you going to collect just one to represent the entire collection? It's a different jacket. Totally different jacket. Similar style, I can tell, it's supposed to be the same jacket in that regards, but it's not. It's a totally different jacket, which is cool. But it's close enough that it would represent Star-Lord from any of the movies that showed Star-Lord up to date in regards to Infinity War Star-Lord here. Pants are different too. So that's when it gets down to the nitpicky. This Star-Lord had such and such and so, and that's where we are in that regards. Kind of like I said, volume 1 versus volume 2 Star-Lord. Unlike, for instance, the Black Widow figures, where each one of those are pretty much a full-on redesign of the Black Widow character from the movie. Why I had him turned backwards, it doesn't make any sense. Might as well have him facing forward while we're at it, right? So there's a clear definition of which Black Widow character you're looking at when you go through them. Yeah. It's funny. I took the hand off to remove the little plastic piece. I can't get the hand back on. We're going to play that game, huh? These wrist pegs on any of these Hot Toys figures, I always say, whatever it wants to do, leave it like that. Hopefully out of your collection, hopefully this wouldn't be like the first figure that you've bought. You'll have extra wrist pegs because sometimes the hands are really tight, sometimes the arms are really tight. And so if you got one that comes on or off or whatever, leave it alone because you don't want to have to keep messing around with the doggone thing. And I'm definitely having a wrist problem here with this hand. There we go, finally. So how about we rip this one off instead of screwing around with that. It is 7 a.m. when I start these shows here on the Pacific coast of the United States. So I get up early on Saturday morning to try to get you guys, because I know over in Europe it's like, 9 hours? It's like the afternoon or something for you guys. And the further east you go, it starts getting later and later in the day, right? Remade the if all my Iron Man get remade to version 3.0. I'm stupid like that where I'm just going to keep buying whatever crap they make. There's going to be a point where I'm going to be like, all right, enough's enough. For instance, I had to do that with the Neon Tech. I got the Mark, which was the first one to come out? The Mark 4? And I think I bought that from a person in I think it was a person out in Hong Kong I bought that from. And the reason I did that was because Sideshow, gosh darn them, Hot Toys said that it was only going to be for select markets, literally. And they did that with the Mark 21 Chrome, okay? So the Mark 21 came out as a regular House Party Protocol figure. And then they released the Mark 21 Chrome. And it was only made available at Shanghai Disney, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you wanted to buy it, you had to get it from Shanghai Disney, which meant if you lived here in the United States or Europe or anyplace else, you had to buy it from somebody that was willing to go to the Disney store, buy it, and turn around and sell it to you and ship it and whatever else. And so it ended up costing $400, and that was back when the Iron Man figures were around $300 or so. And so I paid extra to get it. I was paying, a convenience fee or whatever to the person who bought it. He went and spent his time and day going to Disney to buy the figure, packaging it up, sending it to me here in the United States. So I paid much more for it. I was pleased to do that. I love my Mark 21 Chrome. It's absolutely one of my favorite figures, 100%. No doubt about it. And so I knew that Hot Toys had the audacity to do that to us collectors. So when the Mark IV Neon came out, they said the same bullshit. They're like, oh, select markets, blah, 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 yada, 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 only going to be available, etc., etc. And I was like, Jesus, you're going to do the same thing you did with the frickin' 21. So I contacted Sideshow. And Sideshow specifically told me that they will not be carrying the Mark IV Neon Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It wasn't going to be at Comic-Con in San Diego. It wasn't going to be for sale to anybody here in the United States. They were not going to get it. So, of course, I bought it through somebody in Hong Kong. And I'd be doggone after spending whatever it was, $400, $500 for the gosh darn thing or more. Sideshow decides they're going to start selling them. That really torqued me off so much because I really overpaid for the figure in that instance. And then they came out with the Mark 6, and I bought it because I was like, it looks pretty cool. I like the Mark 6. Bought it from Sideshow or whomever it was that was selling it, regular price. And then they came out with the War Machine. I was like, okay, no, done. I'm done with this neon baloney. I don't need this War Machine. I'm fine with the 4 and the 6. And I think a lot of collectors were at that point also. I like the War Machine. It's a good looking figure. But I was like, enough's enough. So what I'm hoping for now, and with the release of the Mark 21 diecast, that's my motivation. Because they showed us the Mark 28 Jack, 2 years ago or so. Not as a, here it's coming, but as a in the background of a figure that they were selling at the time. And I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the Disco that they were showing. Maybe been the Shotgun. I don't remember. But the photographs were of the figure. Here it is. This is what we're showing you. And oh, by the way, back here is a little Mark 28. You see this? So normally, whenever they do that, that means this is what's coming. You're going to get this next. And it never happened. And the next thing that started happening was the diecast figures started coming out. Now, I don't mean the diecast figures started coming out because we'd already had like the Mark 22 Hot Rod and the Iron Patriot, the Iron Patriot and the War Machines, and all those were diecast. Okay, they started redoing the Mark 1 through 7s. So I think it was the Mark 3 was the first of the the 7 initial figures to become diecast. So everything stopped. It all just came to an absolute complete halt of the House Party Protocol figures at that point. And my belief to that was that because, for the most part, the majority of the House Party Protocol figures are based off of the Mark 7. So it was under my impression that they're cranking out the Mark 7 and they're going to have to redesign them because the sizes became different on them and they're just going to redo the whole shooting match. And I said, well, no, for fact, in my opinion, if they make the Mark 21 diecast, because it is simply, literally, 100% a Mark 7, just painted gold. So when they announced that Mark 21 a few months back, I was like, that's it, it's on. That means the rest of the House Party Protocol will be built. So that's where I am in regards to that. And I'll buy every single one of those from 8 to 40 or 41, however many that they would make in diecast. And I'm hoping that they make a version 3.0 of the Mark III, because the Mark III now is outscaled by the new diecast figures. So yeah, I would buy that too. And I love all of the plastic ones just as much as I do the diecast ones. A lot of you have, abandoned your 4s and your 6s and your 7s because the diecast came out. And yeah, granted, the diecast figures are better in some ways. In some ways they're not. Like the plastic ones sometimes have the little missiles on there that pop in and out, which is really neat. And of course, the back is designed differently in regards to the air brakes or the wings or whatever you want to call them in that regards. In other ways, like the Mark V diecast, it surely is a far superior figure in that regards, but I'm not getting rid of my Mark V classics. I'll get rid of them when I get rid of them, but I'm not like saying that's it. I'm junking the Mark V plastic because of it. But it just gives me an opportunity to display more of them. I'm like, gosh, I don't even know how many Mark IVs and Mark VIs I've got. 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 Mark IVs, and Mark VIs I've got 2. I got 6 Mark IVs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 Mark IVs. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Mark VIs. Sevens, I've got 7 Mark sevens, and then you count the 2 Mark 21, so it's really like 9 Mark 7s, and I have no problem with that. Um, each one, truthfully, is a little different in regards to that, and there's so many different ways of being able to display your figures, especially like with the Mark 7. You can display the Mark 7 in like 3 different configurations, and it still be an accurate representation of what the Mark 7 looked like. Missiles on and off, chess pieces on and off, in all that regards, as such. And there's so many times that they are in the movie or movies that you can recreate so many different scenes with them that if you have the room to show them off, you really have that opportunity to do so. You know what I mean? Kind of like the double Mark 47s I have here. This guy's in the Spider-Man display, and this one's over here with the list of them that goes, Mark 43, Mark 44 Hulkbuster, 45, 46 Concept, 46, and then the 47 stands there chronologically in that regards. So, yeah, I'm not too scared by them making a 3.0 version of all these. What I hate is when they reissue it, like they did with the 47. Yeah, I benefited from that. I truthfully did, and I'm happy that they did. But and I'm already seeing these batteries going dead, and it's not even been an hour. They're not quite as bright as they were. Um, but we buy these for their collectability, and the older figures, actually, there's going to be less of them, which would make them even more collectible in that regards. The new ones, they're not even, there's no telling how many of these that they make. I mean, tens of thousands, who knows? And then when they reissue them again, it doesn't put any rarity to it, I guess. So that's the hard thing about it. But so I encourage and I say to you, buy the figure that you want, that you love, that you have a connection to. And there's so many figures in the hobby, so many different lines in the hobby. I mean, this is the 90% Marvel collection, and not only that, a 90% Marvel MCU collection. I mean, I have hardly any of the X-Men style from who was cranking those out. Fox was the had the X-Men franchise. I don't have hardly any of the X-Men here. I have Deadpool, um, because he's he's Deadpool. So I have a whole Deadpool collection here, but I can't think of any other X-Men figure that I have. And it's not because I don't have any love for them, because I do. I love the X-Men as well. It's just, holy smokes, you know how big this would be if I bought every single 1/6 scale franchise? I mean, you've got the Predator line that they're not doing much with. You got Batman. Holy smokes, did you see that Bat Pod that they're re-releasing? Because didn't they do a Bat Pod before? So we've got the new Christopher Nolan Dark Knight coming out, and the Bat Pod again. I think that's the second time Bat Pod's come out. And that looks great. You Batman guys, you have to be absolutely pleased about that. How could you not be in that regards? I've got some of the Star Wars figures, and I've tried to keep that just to the droids because I love R2D2. Really, it was R2D2 is what I wanted to buy in the first place. It was just R2D2, and so that's why I have 4 of them over there. But the other one, well, 7 if you count the Imperial droids and the Ralph McQuarrie prototype, which really wasn't a prototype droid. It was just a R2D2 they painted silver. So 7 if you count that. But then I continued on with that, justifying getting the protocol droids, and then the R5s and the Gonk droid, and then I got the land speeder, and I got the BBs, and my Star Wars collection's growing, and it just gets to the point of enough. Where do you put the brakes at? You know, you got the whole Star Wars line, the DC line, the Predator line, the Aliens line, the Terminator line. Then all the other third-party manufacturers that are making these wonderful figures for the pieces that just aren't getting it. And of course, I buy my Fison figures because I love the girls, and the bodies and the shapes on that are amazing. And you literally have to just say, enough's enough. And I'm going to focus on this. So don't ever put money into a figure that you don't have a connection to. I find my center here, my zen, more or less, my relaxation, my calm, just being in the midst of these, just sitting here and just losing myself in a figure and looking at a figure and being reminded of a scene or something that just you know calms me. It's my zen. It's my center, and that's the enjoyment and the pleasure that I get out of this. And I hope that you all as well have that similar experience and passion and love for the hobby that I do. And it's kind of like, I don't know if any of you have ever gambled, and surely I'm not promoting gambling, but if I were to go gamble in like a casino, the game I want to play is craps. Love craps. It's like 40 different games at one time. Everybody you're standing next to is playing a different game than you are, but you're all playing on the same table with the same roll of the dice. But each one of you are counting on that dice doing something for them that you are not thinking of doing the same thing. And the one thing you never want to do when you're playing craps is to think about what you got in play. You, as the game progresses, you'll add things and whatever else, and next thing you know, if you ever really stop to think about what the hell's going on at the crap table, you're gonna want you don't want the dice to be rolled at all at that point. You want to end the game because you're like, what the hell is going on here? You just play the game and enjoy it. That's what it's about. And so now that we're talking about gambling, I just want to say, if you ever decide to go gambling, please never ever think that you're going to win. Please, if you're going to go to a casino, just consider it a fun way of spending your money, just like going out to a fine restaurant, just like going out to a movie or buying figures. Take your money there and give it to the casino and walk away knowing that you had a nice time of entertainment. You enjoyed the people you were with, you enjoyed the excitement of the sound, you enjoyed going to the casino, and leave it at that. Please, if you ever go gambling, don't ever think for 1 second that you're going to win. If you win, God bless you. I'm happy that you did. Now there are games that are a little more skilled, like 21 blackjack or poker, which you may actually have a better chance of winning than other games, but most of them are games of chance. And as long as you are going into the game thinking, I'm just giving them my money and I'm leaving, and if I walk out of here with money in my pocket, hey, I did good. But it's just a form of entertainment that you are giving to somebody. So please, I hope none of you ever get addicted to gambling to the point where you think you have to gamble to try to pay the bills or whatever. It ain't going to happen. Just if you go there, do that. And that's kind of what this is as well. It's a big gamble. You know what? I'm gonna spend my $300, my $400 or whatever on the figure. If the figure becomes worth more, hey, I made out. If the figure never goes anywhere, big deal. I enjoyed having the figure in the first place. If you're buying these thinking for 1 second that you're really going to make this into a profitable business, you're really in it in the wrong way. Now, sure, there are those of you that have turned this into a profitable business, I'm sure. But for you and I, the average collector, it's not going to happen. It's really not a profitable business. I buy these for my enjoyment. I buy these for my pleasure, and I'm sharing them with you guys. And I enjoy spending the time and talking with you guys about the figures and showing them off. And like I said, finding my center, finding my zen here. And that's why I do this, because I really love collecting these figures. And I'm one of these guys that'll Pokemon everything. When I was playing Pokemon, I had to catch them all. And I buy money on stupid shit. Nike Cortez Classic tennis shoes, my favorite tennis shoes. I don't even know how many pairs of Nike Cortez Classic tennis shoes I have. Probably 30 pair of them. And I don't think, but maybe only one or two are identical. Every one of them is different in some capacity of these Nike Cortez Classic tennis shoes. So I'm one of these guys that collect shit no matter. Like I've shown you my Mark III Gillette razor collection. And I don't even use those anymore. The ones I'm using now are the what are they called? The 5 blade razors, and I have, oh my god, I don't even know how many of those I have. I probably have close to 100 of those of different ones that they made. Orange ones, blue ones, green ones, black ones, orange and silver, silver and orange. And oh, jeez. So I'm a collector in the first place. Kind of like an OCD in that regards. So I'm buying these because I get the excitement and everything else. But like the tennis shoes, I don't get that much pleasure out of them. I enjoy putting them on and going, and I have some that cost me several $100s that I don't even want to wear because they're so expensive on those Nike Cortez classic tennis shoes. But the like the razors, you're dropping 10 or $15 or $20 or whatever on a razor, and I can only use one. All the others are just in a box. I don't even see the doggone things. Oh, there's one I've never seen before, an orange one with a silver stripe. I better buy this. You know what? Let's buy 2 of them, as a matter of fact. And there to go. Oh, I'm going to use the razor blades, though, is why I'm buying it, of course. So I'm a collector in that regards. And I don't think that I'm necessarily alone. I think there's probably a lot of you out there that collect other things as well, um, as such, some of the smaller collections that I don't have, that I haven't lost control out of. Swatch watches. I have a handful of Swatch watches. Nobody wears a wristwatch anymore. And Oakley sunglasses. I have a handful of Oakley sunglasses. But I've not, none of them are prescription lenses. And then when I turned 40 or whatever, I now required prescription lenses to be able to drive. I mean, I can see without glasses to drive. I pass the exam. I can read the chart. I don't need glasses to drive, but I see better when I'm wearing the glasses. So of course I'm gonna wear the glasses, so I can see better what I'm doing. And none of my Oakleys are prescriptions, so those don't get wore much anymore. But there's always some bullshit that I'm collecting. You know how that goes. Oh my God, yeah, the Superman and the Batman, and of course I'm a DC fan also. Um, Even though DC is kind of being, I don't know, what would be the term I'd use? They're kind of fucking off everything right now. They're not doing it right. If that makes any sense. I'm still a Batman DC fan. You know what I'm saying? Real simple instruction manual here. Show you guys that. So there's batteries in the head sculpt, which is cool. I didn't expect there to be any batteries in Star-Lord at all. So I'm trying to remember, did he lightning effect accessory? Lightning effect accessory can be attached to the gravity bomb and arm as shown. The bubbling effect accessory and gravity bomb can be passed into the blaster in the direction as shown. Gravity bomb can be folded in the direction as indicated. Do not fold outward, otherwise it will be damaged. So this is the gravity bomb. It's a little triangle here. I don't remember this in the movie, but they're showing it attached to the bottom half of the blaster. And yeah, it definitely folds in one direction more than the other. So you can fold it back to about that far, if you can see that. But you can fold it forward into a full-on little pyramid there. And then it says that can be attached to the bottom of the blaster to recreate that scene, evidently, but I don't remember that in the movie. But then they show that it can be attached to the lightning base, which you surely wouldn't see it. Lightning effect accessory can be attached to the gravity bomb and arm as shown. I don't know. I'm assuming that this lightning base just sits there's no attaching of it. It just, whether you put it in upside down or right side up, it's just there. It doesn't appear to be held in any way. And when it's in there, if you have this, down as such, you certainly can't see it. And I don't see anything that says anything about there being any lights in this. The lights go into the helmet. So I don't. Help me out, guys. What the hell's the purpose of this? I'm assuming that it just sits there, right? Because they show it wrapped in his arm. So I'm assuming as he's attacking Thanos. There it is. What am I missing? I only collect, but yeah, I remember Save All Mason when he'd be in You Are the Villain Collector. Yeah, the Bat Pod looks great, and it'd be really cool to put Catwoman on it, right? Come on, right? Or buy two of them, one for Batman and one for her, right? Stallone, Bonds, yeah, right, etc. Right? I don't watch Mandalorian, so is Boba Fett actually back? Robert, good question. Oh God, why? I'll say this about the Mandalorian, Robert. If you're a somewhat Star Wars fan, and obviously you're familiar with Boba Fett, you should be watching The Mandalorian. It's only on Disney Plus, unless you can find some other way for someone to get it to you. You're going to love it. It takes place after Return of the Jedi. Okay? So for us hardcore fans that are really grounded into the first three movies, meaning 4, 5, and 6, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, The Mandalorian. And that's all I'm going to say about Boba Fett, okay? I think you'll really enjoy that. Boba Fett is... you got to see it, Robert. You got to see it. You got to see it. And guys, don't ruin it for him. Yeah. George Lucas said that Boba Fett was one of the figures that characters that he didn't realize was going to be as popular as he was. Same thing with Darth Maul. Those were two characters in his stories that he didn't realize the popularity would become of them. So the Mandalorian really plays into that. And that's all I'm going to say about Boba Fett, Robert, because you haven't seen it, and I hope none of you guys ruin it for him. So, yeah, if you know who Boba Fett is, you really should be watching The Mandalorian for real. You really should be watching The Mandalorian. Yeah, well, the good thing is that Luke is at the end, so the Mandalorian is back in the solidness. I like to call 4, 5, and 6, or what we would call the Star Wars, Empire Strikes, Return of the Jedi, the solid ones, and Mandalorians grouped into that. Rogue One works with that as well. So for me, the best ones are, from Rogue One to the Mandalorian. 7, 8, and 9, I could, there you are. 1, 2, and 3, and the Clone Wars, whichever version of the Clone Wars that you're watching. For me, they're painful and difficult to watch, but they sure as hell aren't as bad as 7, 8, and 9. So the Mandalorian redeems it all. Jon Favreau is in charge of it. Obviously, he still answers to Kathleen Kennedy, but I really think that Favreau's really been given the opportunity to do this properly, and it's done the way 4, 5, and 6 were done. It's good stories. It's proper storytelling. There was so far of the ones that I've seen, and like I said, I've missed the last couple of weeks only because I'm watching them with my wife now. So far, of the ones I've seen, there's only been one episode that was difficult to watch because I was like, oh God, just get on with the freaking story. But that happens. Empire Strikes Back, if you remember, back in the day, was really difficult to stomach through until the big reveal, you know. But the beginning of Empire Strikes Back was like, oh, come on, just get with the story. And that happens. That happens with a lot of stories. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, the second one, is just difficult to get through. I'm talking about the ones that was made 20 years ago. The second one is just difficult to get through to get to the third one, which is the real story. So the Mandalorian series is great. I think each episode is like 45 minutes or thereabouts. So they go pretty quickly. And there's actually been 2 episodes that were kind of a little more difficult because the story was just such a long story to get to the end of it. But oh my God, if you're asking about Boba Fett, Robert, you need to be watching The Mandalorian. That's my entire opinion on that. And oh my God, talking about collecting figures, there are so many Mandalorian figures right now. Again, I'm like, I want to buy them all. I want to buy all the Mandalorian figures. So that's how much inspired I've become from watching The Mandalorian. And now I just want, and I wanted Boba Fett in the first place. I wanted all the bounty hunters. I wanted to collect all the bounty hunters. The IG-88 and I forget the names of all the bounty hunters, but the Sideshow, I believe, made all of them at one point. And I really wanted to get the bounty hunter collection in the first place. But watching The Mandalorian, holy smokes, you know how hard it is to sit there and look at a Hot Toys Star Wars Mandalorian figure and say, I don't want to pull the trigger on it because I don't have the money and I don't have the place to put them, but I so badly want them. Oh my God. Sheesh. Watch The Mandalorian. Now, if you're a casual Star Wars fan, you've seen 2 movies, or you are familiar with who Star Wars is, it probably is going to be bored senseless to tears with The Mandalorian, because it's not necessarily a fan show where you have to watch it. And it is a good story as well, so you may enjoy it in that regards. But if you're a fan enough to know who Boba Fett is, you really need to be watching it. And all the little hidden fan things are there too. Like, one of the biggest jokes in the Star Wars realm is that a stormtrooper can't hit the side of a barn with their laser blaster, and they touch on that in one time specifically. And I mean, I got the biggest freaking laugh out of that. And my wife's like, what are you laughing at? And I'm like, they can't hit the side of a barn. And it's funny because they touch on that. It's made for fans in that regards. Whereas 7, 8, and 9, Kathleen Kennedy and the whole group literally just look at us and said, oh, you're a Star Wars fan? Go fuck yourself. This isn't for you. We're making a new Star Wars, and that's how things are going to be. Jon Favreau said, fuck that idea. We're making this the way Star Wars is supposed to be, for the fans, and it's a good story, and we're keeping it the way it should be. So it's none of that bullshit that they did with 7, 8, and 9. And I truthfully say that because I am a fan of Star Wars. So I can I can complain because I'm a fan. So that's that in that regards. So it just sits under Thanos' hand when Spidey tries to get the gauntlet off. Okay, so it's not for Star-Lord, it's for Thanos. So again, we're back to, you know, you can't see the gosh darn thing. I don't know. Mando's great, and I don't like Star Wars generally. There you go, Ian. Okay, good. Thank you. That's a good opinion. I'm old. My heroes were Luke. Yeah, yeah. I because it happens after Return of the Jedi, it's quite possible that those characters could be in the Mandalorian. It takes place in all the story area that you're familiar with. Okay, it takes place on Tatooine in some of the story. So being that Star Wars fan that it sounds like you are, I really believe you're going to watch The Mandalorian and say, thank you. Thank you, Jon Favreau, for making Star Wars the way Star Wars should have been made with 7, 8, and 9. And George knew that 1, 2, and 3 were going to be difficult movies. And I'm talking about Phantom Menace. I'm talking about 1, 2, and 3. And that's why he started with Star Wars, A New Hope that it became later, because that was the better stories. And he knew that 1, 2, and 3 were going to be difficult to tell, and it was. It was a difficult story, and poor Jar Jar. If you know that there's a fan theory that Jar Jar was supposed to be, the Dark Sith. He was supposed to be the bad guy, and it's quite an interesting video if you find that on YouTube that talks about Jar Jar being the bad guy, and because there was such a lashing out to him by the community, that they scrapped that idea and brought in Count Dooku. But Count Dooku's position, according to this fan theory, and I'm inclined to believe it, was supposed to be Jar Jar. So keep that in mind when you're watching the movies with Jar Jar in it, that he really was supposed to be the Count Dooku character. At that point, when Count Dooku comes out and fights Yoda and whatever else, just imagine that for a minute. So, yeah, 1, 2, and 3 were going to be difficult, and we when George knew it was going to be difficult, and we hated it because it was not as good as 4, 5, and 6. But 7, 8, 9, they literally just trashed that. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. How do you take a golden Easter egg and just screw it up so bad? I mean, here you go. Here's a multi-million-dollar, if not billion-dollar industry, and they just fuck it off. I don't understand that one bit. I really don't. I don't. I don't understand that. That makes zero sense to me. Talking about whether they kill off Mando, I couldn't tell you what's going on with that. I don't. There's such a time frame in between 4, 5, and 6 and 7. I mean, 20 years at least, that anything could happen along that line. What I hated about Rogue One was I knew it was a finite story, and I loved those characters. And if there's any way that they can bring some of those characters, the ones that survived, into, for instance, The Mandalorian, which we're getting from Clone Wars. So Clone Wars characters and whatever else in the first 3 are being brought into The Mandalorian. It would be nice if Rogue One could make the same transition, because I hated Rogue One because, okay, I did not hate Rogue One. I loved Rogue One, but I hated the fact that the characters, I knew that there was a finite story because none of them were in 4, 5, and 6, right? So it's like, okay, I guess all these guys have died. But now with Mandalorian here, and they're bringing some Clone Wars characters in, okay, it's quite possible that Rogue One characters may as well, because that time frame from A New Hope and Return of the Jedi is not that much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's only like 5 years Time has passed between these two, maybe more, but I'm thinking it's only like a 5 year time frame between Episode 4, The Empire Strikes, Star Wars: A New Hope, and Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. So, in all actuality, then with the Clone Wars, um, you do have a time frame of you know Anakin becoming Darth Vader, and then Luke growing up at 18 years old, or however old he's supposed to be, 20 years old, or whatever. He's a young kid. There is that time gap there, but the Clone Wars kind of bridges into that, right? Also, so it's real close. So they don't have to kill him because there's so much time after that, and they might not. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense, truthfully. So, and there's so much story there. Oh my God, there's so much story there. It's the whole universe. It's not just it is the story more or less of the Mandalorian, but it's really that and everything else. So, um, you know, keep that mindset that it's right after Return of the Jedi. It's I don't know how many years it is after Return of the Jedi, but the Empire has fallen. The rebels have won. They're the ones now that are controlling the universe, more or less. The Vader's dead. The Emperor is no longer in charge, and the Rebel Alliance has taken over the galaxy for the most part. So that's the story. That's where you are in that regards. So that's the story of Mandalorian. Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna, Robert, check it out, man. I tell you, I think you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like it. Yeah, there's some good ones. Collection Obsession, how's it going, man? I did not get K2SO. God, that's one of those that I really said to myself, I need to get this guy. I need to get him. I need to get him because I'm a droid collector, and I wished I'd had. And I think he's a valuable figure at this point, isn't he? K2SO. I think if you can find him, you're going to spend some money to get him. But I've not seen him in The Mandalorian, and I wished I'd got him. But it's another one. You have to schedule your money and your space along where you can put these things. And again, that goes back to the story of don't buy a figure just because it's a figure. Buy a figure because you want that figure. You have to have them for your collection. That's what you have to do. Because otherwise, you're going to spend so much money on figures that you're not going to have any connection to, and you're going to be pissed off about getting that in the first place. All right, so it appears to be a similar setup that we had with the helmet over here. I like that you can still use the helmet on him and have the ability to see his face, unlike here you can't. And it comes apart into pieces. So the little Vader breath comes off the front, and then it comes apart on the side. And then you could just wrap it around your Chris Pratt head here and then reassemble it on him. And I like that this has the, you can see his face still, which makes it good. And that will help you decide how you want to display the piece. What story are you going to be telling with your Star-Lord? Are you going to be having this helmet transitioning onto him? Come on, you. It might be just easier just to slip it on. Let's find out. I'm having difficulty snapping this in here. It's a little tab and slot. tab and slot scenario. Insert tab A into slot B. I'm having difficulty inserting tab A into slot B. No, it ain't slipping over, man. Magnet in his chest. I'm assuming that you can put little baby Groot on his shoulder then. Like we have over here. Oh, come on now. I just had that thought. Get over here. Mortal Kombat, right? Okay, this is difficult. Inserting tab A into slot B is not as easy as you would think. They could have done a better job with that. There we go. I really like how that looks. You can really see the actor in there still. Holy smokes! Smashed the camera. Nice view of the ceiling there, huh, guys? Sorry about that. As soon as I get my Star-Lord to act right, I'll get the camera straight back up. I really like this, how they did this. I think there was a version of that as well in the other volume 2. I went on with the full one here. If you can see it, probably can't. Let me take him off of his stand there. So here's volume 2 figure. This is set up as volume 1, and here's volume Infinity War helmet. And I think we have this same helmet with this figure as well. I don't remember, but I think you have the same ability. So, you know, if that's the story that you're going to tell, there you have that. And here you have the full-on helmet as well with the batteries, which go IG-11. Was that the surgery droid? I know IG-88 was one of the bounty hunters, right? Which one's IG-11? Is that a new one? What? Kitty's a dude now? Oh my god. 2 head sculpts for Kitty. And I hope that the MCU totally gobbles up the X-Men. I think I think the X-Men franchise kind of got lost. I hate to say it. I can't even keep track of the freaking timeline in the X-Men universe, the Fox X-Men universe. And oh my God, Hugh Jackman did such a wonderful Wolverine. And Patrick Stewart did a great Xavier also. There were some moments in it that was just perfect. And there's some characters that didn't. Have they ever released Gambit? Was Gambit's story ever told in the Fox X-Men storyline? I love Gambit. How come he wasn't there? And then like some of them, like who's that? The Nightcrawler and Toad. You know, they really missed their opportunity in a lot of these characters. And why am I not able to get this out of here? The hell is it on a hinge? Sheesh. So whenever they include two batteries for an LED, I don't understand that. An LED really requires 4.5 volts, and these are 1.5 volt batteries. And red is the hardest to light up. Period. The way the color spectrum works: red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet. You know, ultraviolet. You know, what we see. Red being the first one. It's the hardest one to light up. And I don't understand why they only gave us two batteries here. I guarantee it's not going to be bright enough. But what that also is going to do is it's going to make it difficult for when one of you guys out there invents a reasonably priced AC alternative or a near field technology alternative to light these up without batteries, to use a 3-volt system here. I don't know if they did it because of space or what, but if you notice when I was putting in the batteries into the Iron Man here, two of them lit the lights, but they really require more voltage than just 3 volts. And I'm having difficulty getting this in here. I think it was King Arts that made this little tweezer function here. Let me see if I can use this one. Instead, it has a little plunger in it. So you stack your batteries in there, put it into the little slot, and then plunge them out. So I'm going to try that with the Star-Lord batteries here. Because my tweezers, I'm using the little plastic tweezers that Hot Toys provides now. It used to be you didn't get anything, but now Hot Toys gives you these little plastic tweezers, which are nice. But there's nothing, there's no resistance. I can't put it in there, so I'm going to use this little King Arts plunger battery. Let's see if I can get that in with this. I don't remember which figure that came with. I think maybe a Yellow Jacket. I don't remember. So we just stack the two little batteries in there. Compress a little spring. And plunge them in. Voila. There we have it. Oh, what the hell? Did I put them in backwards? Jesus. I sure did. How the hell did I do that? I got them in backwards. I'm assuming they're in backwards. Can't believe I put them in backwards. Or I did. Backwards doesn't work. I know how to put batteries in. I know what direction they go. I have no idea why I put them in backwards. Don't put your batteries in backwards. All right. I'm in our little loader here. press the spring, plunge them out. Yay! Come on, Star-Lord, get with the program. There you go. Off, on. That's pretty cool. I'm impressed with just the two lighting that up. It's nice. And it's nice and red, which we don't get with any of the War Machines. They're supposed to be red, and they all look pink. That's red. I like it. I like it. I don't care. I love it. Throwing the batteries on the floor. So no, I'm not keeping the batteries in this. I don't keep the batteries in any of them. They'll be coming out to this guy too. If I find a figure that I have batteries in it, I take them out. I don't recommend leaving the batteries in any of your figures. Do not. Which sucks, because they look good lit up. Especially the 47. It really looks good lit up. Just as much difficulty as I had getting this out of here, I'm having the same difficulty getting it back in. I may have to do this off camera. I'm going to keep screwing with that. So we have on the hands, these are kind of the relaxed hands. We have 2 fists, 2 trigger hands for his blasters, and 1 holding something hand. He has this. What the heck is this? You guys remember what this is? It doesn't even show it anywhere in the instructions. Attach graphic accessory to the indicated part. What graphic accessory? We have this. Did I leave something in the box? The hell graphic accessory are they talking about? I'm supposed to cut something out of the box. Here we go. All right, this is cool. I'm digging this. Gonna make it a little difficult to display an adet-off with this. But I suppose if you're having him fight Thanos, he's not going to be on a single level det-off anyhow, right? Well, it appears that this is where this opens up at. Here we go. This is cool. You know what? I cut the front off of a Doctor Strange box to have this swirl effect for my Doctor Strange. I have never figured out a good way of really displaying it. I had it just kind of sitting in front of him. Well, I have it in front of him now for some reason. I don't know where the hell it is. But this is neat. So evidently it goes with this piece as such. Has a little curve to it to help it stand up straight. And then you would place this according to the instructions using this. And I love these rods. I wish they would include them with all the Iron Man figures. According to instructions, it just goes as such, and then as you pose your Star-Lord, you can have him leaping through it. I don't know if I'd want it up that high, truthfully. I don't know. Just a thought process here. Wouldn't it be better to be, literally behind him? I don't know. Like he stepped through it? That's what they show in the instructions. It goes as such. I'm thinking it would be better, and I don't know. Gosh, dang it. Wouldn't it be better lower? Like he's just stepped out of it? Not a big fan of these that they've been doing the last few years that slide up and down on that. I'm having a difficult time with this too. Once you actually get it in position, I would imagine it's going to stay better because you're not constantly mucking with it. Wouldn't that be better? Him stepping through it or whatever? I maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. Instead of it being over his head, like they show. Just a quick thought there. I think that looks pretty cool, right? Tells a story. So they show with this, the taller goes in towards the heel. And that steps on pretty easily. The suit's not too tight. They show one of them like a toe pivot. He has no toe pivot. But as I put it just in the toe, it does go. So you can get that effect of it walking as such. There's definitely a left and right, and I don't know if I have them on correctly, left and right, but it does stick there quite easily. So you should be able to get a good story there with this. No doubt about it. I like that. That really helps tell the story. That shows you where you're going. I'm not answering that. It's one of the nurses. He's got no business calling it 8:40 in the morning. What the fuck? Fuck off. So there's that. My wife has nurses and doctors that come see her at her house, at our house. Um, uh, when you're in that stage of your life where, you know, shit's gonna hit the fan, you know, sometimes nurses and doctors will come and take care of you at your home like they used to. So that's where she is in life. And you know you're pretty fucked up when the doctors are actually coming out, when the doctors are actually coming to you to see you at home. So that's good. But I'm digging this. I really like this the Doctor Strange effects, and I'm glad to get the looking at this because it's appears to be muted. I'm assuming there's a piece of film on it that comes off. I can't imagine it being that muted. I would expect it to be brighter. And I think I see it here. Yep. So let's take this film off of this so we can see the real color of it. Oh yeah, here we go. I don't see much of a difference though. I'm gonna take it half off so you can see what I'm talking about. It really didn't brighten it up much at all, truthfully. Between film off and film on, the top portion of it, the film's still on. The bottom portion, the film's off. It's a little bit brighter and clearer, but man, not much. Not much at all. What a disappointment that was. I expected it just to snap. But there is some film on there. You might want to decide just to leave it on. Who knows? Or if you leave it on, you might not never be able to get it off. It might melt into it, so you might have to take it off anyhow. Second head with the porn stash. They do, like I said, painted this one in a little more darker. The mustache is darker on this one than that one. So they did make it more predominant. What piece have I not talked about yet? What we got here? Buttons and such. I've never had to replace buttons on my figures yet, but they've included them here for him. You should be falling into it. Yeah, because don't they do like they're going in and out and whatever else popping around as Doctor Strange is popping these up all over the place. Kirk said there's a gremlin on the nace. Oh yeah, let's check this. Because I discovered there's a magnet on his chest. Let's see if we can put Baby Groot over here. So of course at this point in the movie, there's no more Baby Groot. So it must not have been a magnet. There must be something metal in there that little Baby Groot here is not finding. Baby Groot, Baby Yoda. Baby Groot, Baby Yoda. Who's cuter, Baby Groot or Baby Yoda? Baby Yoda. It's definitely cuter. There's a magnet there, or a piece of metal that he's holding on to, but it's definitely not designed for Baby Groot. Unlike this guy. Baby Groot definitely sits there. The jacket opens. So you can get the shirt inside there. I don't know if ever there was a scene where he had the jacket open in the movie. But you can see there's his shirt underneath there. Again, I think the Deluxe Volume 2 comes with 2 or 3 shirts. So if you missed out on that, you want to get some of the other shirts or something or whatever. You didn't have the extra bodies at the time. You only bought one of those, but you got the extra shirts. You want to display him up, put the other shirts on him, get this body. You know, you can put those shirts on him, I imagine. I don't see why you couldn't. So there is Star-Lord. I think I've touched on everything here that we have for him, except this piece. What the hell is this? What is this, guys? Obviously, we can put it in his hands, but it's not talked about anywhere in the instruction manual. Nowhere. And I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. It's something that he can hold in his hands. Or give the rocket. If it's an explosive device, give it the rocket. Let's see, which hand would this go in? What is this? I think I'm going to cut it short. We've been here almost 2 hours. I think I've gone through the figure. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about before wrapping this up, be happy to do that. Thank you, Patreon supporters. I love every one of you guys. You Patreon supporters are a true blessing. It's not much. Like I said, trust me, unless you're sending me $1,000 a month, you're not buying my figures. I'm paying for them. There's no company out there sending me figures for free. This is just a hobby I'm sharing with you guys. YouTube certainly doesn't pay me worth a flip. So don't hate on me for having the figures. Don't think that, why should I support you? Hey, if you have it, man, I'd love it. If you want to help out, thank you very much. If you just want to watch and hang out and be part of the community, God bless you too. You know what I mean? It's nice enough just to have you guys, just to chat with y'all. Sometimes some of you guys send me pictures. I love looking at your collections. I've talked to many of you in several capacities, and I enjoy all of that. Big happy family, right? I love everything you do for me. If you can do for me, thank you. If you can't, big deal. So what? I'm not in trouble here. I'm not. I'm not counting on the income from this or anything. I'm buying these figures because I want to buy the figures, and I'm sharing the collection with you guys. And one day I'll probably sell all of them, and maybe you guys will buy them from me. Who knows? I'll get that zipped up later. I'm not going to keep messing with that. But if you want to help out, www.patreon.com/Siri Emerald, all one word, SIRIEMERALD. I have a P.O. box. You can mail me stuff. I hardly ever check it because you guys hardly ever send me anything. But I would enjoy it. I keep the little... Thank you, guys. Those of you who have corresponded to me. Thank you. Trust me. You will never be forgotten, ever. And I love every one of you guys. Check out The Mandalorian if you're a Star Wars fan. You'll love it. I can't imagine for 1 second that you wouldn't if you're a Star Wars fan. And if you tolerate Star Wars, I think you would enjoy watching it with that special person in your life that happens to be a Star Wars fan, because they're going to love it and you're going to enjoy the excitement that they get from it. And my wife, she's just a passing Star Wars fan. She's familiar with Star Wars, has seen some of the movies. And she literally said, I love Baby Yoda. Yay! I considered that a step in the right direction when she said that she loves Baby Yoda. So it has appealed to her. She wants to watch it because she wants to see what little Baby Yoda's up to. She gets a kick out of Baby Yoda. So thanks for watching. I don't remember what I've got coming next week. I don't remember what's in this box, but it's up on YouTube and it tells you what I've got next week. I've got Replicate Dragon's Lair coming, which is the first Laserdisc game. I think it was the first Laserdisc game. So I'm interested to see how they did that. It hasn't arrived yet. I've got I think it's a Jow doll that's being sent. Another Asian Jow doll is coming. And someplace shipped out like 2 months ago and still hasn't arrived is the Captain America Old Soldier from the end of Endgame, where he's sitting on the bench, and it's the bench and the old soldier. Lost someplace in the mail, evidently. So I'm hoping to get that soon. And I'm kind of the opinion that I wish that at that point, instead of Chris Evans playing Captain America, I really had hoped that they'd made that Stan Lee. That would have been cool. You know, that Stan was watching all along, more or less. I don't know. Maybe it not. Maybe it might not have been cool. Maybe it was cool to leave it as Chris Evans and whatever else. But that was neat how they did that. So, where are we at over here? Is that the bomb he puts on Thanos' back? Okay, that's probably what it is, Jake. Thank you. Thank you, Toy Mafia. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, Jake. Thank you, Save on Mason. Yes, next time 3-0 Soundwave on the way. Oh man, the Transformers. You know, I own a 2010 Chevrolet Camaro Transformer Edition Bumblebee, real life driving around town, loving it car, and so I'm a Transformers fan as well. But I've not bought any of the Transformers because I'm a 1/6 scale collector, and they never made a 3-0 or whoever it was. There's 2 or 3 people that were making the Transformers. They never made a full-on 2007 Transformer Bumblebee Transformer. So because that's the car I own from the first movie, you know, I've resisted buying those because there is no Bumblebee Transformer from that. Ugh, man, sheesh. All right, guys. I will see you all next week. Enjoy the hobby. Love you all. See you in the next video. Peace out.